All right, we're switching gears a little bit today. Still got 4 hours work to do on the planter, but planter ain't no good if you ain't got a seed bed to put it into, so I figured I probably ought to get ready to do some tillage. I don't feel sorry for this poor old girl. I never got a chance to power wash it last fall because I got done. What was the last thing I did? Did I disc the muck last? Whatever last thing I did was, like, right after I got done working ground last year, the weather turned to shit and I never got a chance to power wash it. So she's still a little scuzzy, and at this point you might as well wait till I'm done with spring work because it's probably gonna get muddy this year, the way things are going. But anyway, today I want to get this thing serviced, which shouldn't take that long, and then I gotta do some work on the disc, and I gotta get a couple cylinders off of the soil finisher because they're leaking. So that's kind of the goal for today. Anyhow, is this thing? I have to check the air in that. It looks a little flat. I guess I shouldn't say it looks flat, it looks low. This thing can be due for a set of tires at some point, and I'm dreading that day. These are Mexican Firestone Field and Roads Oos Caddies. I'd never even heard of them until I bought this thing, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere on here it said made in Mexico. Yep, right there. Hitch in Mexico. Mexico DF. Or Hincha. Hence, however you pronounce that in Spanish. I should have paid more attention in Spanish class. Anyway, guess we'll start dropping oil, huh? Normally making a mess here is not that big of a deal, but with this breeze blowing, all the oil wants to go that way. dare say I've had critters in there. But on the upside, it died in there. I ain't touching that. I'm getting close. I don't do dead mice. They just... And of all the equipment we've had stored in that shed over the years, this is the only I shouldn't say tractor because I'd count. This is the only thing the mice have ever gotten in. The only thing. I've had them get in the grain drill like in season when I'd park it over there full of beans. I'd have them get in there, but other than that, this is the only thing the mice have ever screwed with over there. Raccoons, that's a different story. The raccoons like the 525. Alright, filters are back on. It's got oil in it. 3-speed was good. Hydraulics were good. I did vacuum out the cab. I went through and greased everything. Topped off the coolant because it was a little low. What else did I do? Checked the air in the tires. That one was low. What else? Oh, I had a motor mount bolt missing. That guy right there. 3208 things. It does that. When I first brought it home, the back two motor mounts were gone and the front two had no nuts on them. They were just sitting in the holes. The only thing holding the motor in the tractor was gravity. So if you run blue Loctite on them, they don't really fall out, but it seems like last time I had the motor out of this thing, when I rebuilt the 3-speed, I had it over at a buddy's house and he didn't have any Loctite, if I remember right, so I put it back in. So I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did. So anyway, she's ready to fire up and fill the oil filters up and recheck. Come on, show me some oil pressure. There we go. Make sure we got no leakies. Got my rag. right where she needs to be. I overfilled it a little bit, hoping I wouldn't have to add any more, so that's good to go. So I guess I'll pull this thing out the way, take the tee up and grab the disc and bring it down here. Okay, so don't really have a whole lot I need to do to this. Really shouldn't take long at all. So the problem I have with this thing when I'm down discing the muck, and I had a problem with it down at Rantoul too, is when the stalks are wet, especially on the muck, when the dirt's wet and the dirt sticks to the stalks, they like to ball up in between the blades and the scrapers like this. And right now I have the scrapers hard up against the blades. So what I'm going to do is should have enough adjustment to go through and bust all the scrapers loose and back them as far away from the blades as I can get them. Because I have yet to have any issues with this thing trying to ball up with dirt. It's always been corn stalk. So my hopes are if I back away all the blade scrapers, it'll give it enough trash clearance for the stalks to roll through without doing this, because then the blades quit turning and you pull up or you start pushing a ball, and then you got a big mound of shit in the middle of the field and yada yada yada. So got to do that. And then when you're roading this thing, it's got a really bad case of trying to, you know, be the tail wagging the dog. And most of my loosey-goosiness is right here where I made this tongue extension. And my hopes were to not have to do anything substantial here. That way if you ever want to take the extension off, you just had one bolt. Well, it's not going to work. This connection is too loose. So what I'm going to do is come back here a little further and drill a second hole so that I've still got this hole, and then weld some plates to this that'll come back and catch this hole and the second hole back here. That way because I need, obviously this hitch extension comes out of here and kicks up at an angle because it's a little loose inside this tube. Well, it worked out right because I need that up angle to get, there's not enough adjustment in the tongue if this thing came out straight to get the tongue where it needs to be for the disc to stay level. So this angle actually worked out just right because it makes the angle of the tongue work out right. So I need to weld, yeah, I need to do all this. So I just have to drive that pin out, take the tongue off. We can take the tongue in the shop, put it in the Bridgeport, punch that hole in, weld it all up on the bench and put it back on. So shouldn't be too long here, and then we can go up and get the finisher. But well, I'm actually going to work on the finisher right up there in the driveway, because it's going to be a boat anchor with them cylinders missing. But so anyway, I'm going to grab an impact real quick, and we're going to back these here scrapers off. Alright, got all the scrapers moved. It certainly can't make it any worse, and if nothing else, if it still plugs, at least it'll make it easier to clean the damn thing out, because they won't be pressing up against the gangs or the blades. So it also should greatly reduce the rolling resistance. So like I say, hopefully it made a difference. We'll see. The only way to know is to try it. So I'm just gonna start working on the tongue here. Should go fairly quick. I already indicated it in. I'm already set up where I want to go. Just need the safety squint. I just moved 2 inches back off of this hole, and I'm going to punch it clearance for a 1/2 inch, because you're still going to be doing all your pulling off of that hole right there. All that 1/2 inch bolt's going to do is take the slop out of that tongue extension. Definitely that guy in the wrong collet holder. That's all we got to do there, and all I got to do is make the plates that are going to span this that we weld onto the extension to make everything nice and solid. All of our benches are covered in stuff, so I guess it's getting welded on the floor. Oh, would help if you have the ground up, right? There, that ought to work a lot better. She's solid as a rock now. I didn't want to get too carried away. Oh, I think that's only 3/16, or that might be 1/4 inch plate. I didn't want to get too carried away and put something super thick on there, and that'll be plenty, because all it's got to do is keep the tongue from doing this. Because I still got the 2 straps back in, or that go up inside the tube with the pipe welded across, and that's what you're actually doing all your pulling off of. This is literally just to keep the tongue from rocking up and down and swaying back and forth. That's all those plates are doing. that being said, I gotta get a longer bolt. I just barely got like 2 threads on that thing once I got them plates welded on there. I need a 1x5, and the longest we went was 1x4. Did you? You need to come over on this side, so you decided you was gonna limbo under that, huh? So, with that being said, I'm gonna fold this thing up and go park it, and I'm gonna have to put the bucket on the 1600 and clean up all my dirt since I emptied half a field here. And then when I get done with that, we'll go get the finisher hooked on the 150 and pull it out in the driveway up at the barn. And I'll pull the cylinders off up there in the driveway. That way, because I could bring it down here, because I should be able to pull the cylinders out with the transport locks on. Since it doesn't lock the cylinders or anything, it's a mechanical lock on top of the lift rigging. I should be able to set it on the locks and then pull the cylinders out. And I could bring it down here and do that, but then I'd have to probably unhook the, well, I mean, I guess I could back it in the driveway. I might, yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll just bring it down here and back it in the driveway. That way I got all the tools here. And I'll just leave the basket on the back. That way I can check tire pressure and stuff while I got it down here. Okay. So I gotta do that cylinder and that cylinder. This is the one that's leaking the worst of the two by far, but I already did the wing wheel cylinders last year, so might as well do these, and then all the lift wheels will be done. What the heck is that? Piece of cable from Lord knows what. And there's a piece of something metal on that one. I don't even remember where the last field I fit was last year. Huh. So it's sitting on the locks, which is nice. So it can't go anywhere. So all I gotta do is crack the lines loose. That'll relieve the pressure enough for me to get the pins out and then the cylinders drop out the bottom. They're not the funnest to get to, but I've had worse. There really ain't a good spot to park the camera so you can see what's going on with this thing. I think I'm gonna go get some plugs real quick for that, just while I'm thinking about it. All right, I got some plugs for the hoses. There's one. There's 2. Now, that should have got enough pressure off. Oh, those pins are gonna come out fun. They're nice and crusty. Yeah. Glad I decided to drag this down here. To drive that thing out with a hammer. Well, I managed to get the other cylinder off without too much of a fight. This one, on the other hand, is being stubborn. I got a pin that's rusted in pretty good. So we're gonna heat it and try to beat it out with an air hammer and hope for the best. It's only stuck in the cylinder clevises. It's not stuck in the trunnion on the finisher because it wobbles. I'm gonna need my other glove. I'm using the wrong hand. There we go. If all else fails, I'm just gonna sawzall the pin and get a new pin, but we're gonna try to save it. Hey, it's moving. It's moving. Hell yeah. Oh, wow. Well, it would appear that I'm going to need a new pin anyway. Because, that one's kind of screwed. That would explain why it always seemed like this side was lower. Huh. Well, that's neat. Now hopefully the cylinder side comes right out. That bastard was a chore. The rod end fought me even worse than the base. Both pins were screwed. They're both, I ended up cutting the other pin out, or part way. I cut half of it, and then that was able to give me enough room, and I wasn't fighting so much of it to be able to drive it through with an air hammer. But they were both wore half through, or better, actually probably more than half through. So, but I'm gonna have to power wash them things before I bring them in and work on them, because those are scuzzy and I'm not getting those near the wash tank, especially that guy. So I think that's gonna be tomorrow's project, 'cause I'm about spent for the day, especially after that fiasco. That was a fight. I was not expecting that. So, with that being said, I think I'm gonna take this guy up and park it and call her a day. So, with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one.